Welcome to our latest Wandering Walks of Wonder adventure. Today we're headed to Hays, Kansas. Hays was founded in 1867 after the establishment of Fort Hays, which was a frontier post that was originally built as Fort Fletcher in 1865. The city was originally called Hays City, and it quickly grew into a major trading post and transportation hub. In its early days, Hays City was a wild and lawless town filled with saloons, dance halls, and gambling dens. It was also home to many famous Wild West characters, including Wild Bill Hickok, Calamity Jane, and Buffalo Bill. This first building that we're seeing on our tour today is St. Joseph's Church. It's actually the third church building for the parish on this site, and by far the largest. This particular construction of this church began in June of 1901, but the summer heat had caused the cornerstone laying to be put off until November of that year. Some 3 years later, in 1904, construction was completed and the building was dedicated. It took over 42 years to free the church from debt, but on May 30th, 1944, the church was finally consecrated. Our walk is beginning in an area known as Gospel Hill. The Ames Dance Hall, originally named the Globe Theater, was built in this area in 1867 by Major George A. Ames with money raised by his younger brother in Leavenworth, Kansas. The money that he raised was ostensibly to erect an Episcopal church building, but he did a dance hall instead. Later, that building was moved to Fort Hays by Hill P. Wilson and became an officer's annex to the Post Trading Store. Ironically, the Catholics, Lutherans, Baptists, and Episcopalians all built churches in this neighborhood, and the area became known as Gospel Hill. By the mid-1870s, the end of the tracks had moved on and Hays City began to settle down. The city became the county seat of Ellis County in 1870, and it continued to grow and prosper in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Hays became a major railroad hub, and it was also home to a number of agricultural processing plants. Hays, Kansas is the county seat for Ellis County. We're now walking right past the Ellis County Courthouse. As we walk past the courthouse, we're reminded about some of the early frontier lawmen who were important here for the safety of the residents of Hays City, Kansas. Hays City and Ellis County cooperated in constructing a jail near this site in 1866. Wild Bill Hickok occupied the sheriff's office from August of 1869 to January of 1870. On August 22, 1872, accused horse thief Pony Donovan was accidentally killed by vengeful friends of John F. Wright, who had been murdered by Bill McLean. The Wright Avengers poured shots into the jail hoping to kill McClellan, but got Donovan instead. The jail burned down the following week. As we head down 10th Street, a number of notorious dance halls, brothels, and saloons once lined this entire street. An example of one of those was Cy Goddard's Dance Hall. Cy Goddard's Saloon and Dance Hall was here from about 1870 to 1876, and it was a notorious place even by Hays City standards. It may have been the site where Bill Hickok mortally wounded Bill Melvern on August 22, 1869. In 1873, the hall was the scene of the murders of Privates Frank Listman, Peter Welsh, and George H. Sumner, as well as the mortal wounding of buffalo hunter D.W. Gann. Dance hall girl Lou Sherwood was probably here when she stabbed herself to death on February 15, 1874. William F. Cody, or Buffalo Bill, was hired to kill 12 buffalo a day for the Goddards, and this helped give him the nickname Buffalo Bill. Another infamous saloon that once lined this street was Kate Coffee Saloon. Kate Burns and Mike Coffee ran the saloon on this site probably as early as 1869. On the very day Bill Hickok became the bogus sheriff of Ellis County, Father Sebastian Farr united Kate and Mike in matrimony at Hays City. In early 1872, the Coffees moved their saloon onto Fort Hays, near Walnut Creek, and there on June 22, 1872, John J. Barker mortally wounded Kate with a butcher knife during a drunken brawl. For some years thereafter, tales of Kate Coffee's ghost circulated in the area. Another Hays City's colorful character was Emmy Joyce. Judge Joyce was a Union spy during the Civil War and a well-known journalist of his day. He presided from 1867 to 1868 as Justice of the Peace for most of the western part of Kansas. Chief Justice Joyce often said there was no higher court than his and that no appeal could be made from his court. Joyce's office was the scene of many a courtroom action on the morning after. Guilty and innocent were judged and fined according to the amount the accused had in their pockets. Judge Joyce moved from Hays City to Leavenworth, Kansas around 1870. In late 1869, William Hickok became sheriff of Hays City, Kansas, a town where drinking, gambling, and prostitution often led to violence. In 4 months as sheriff there, Hickok helped establish law and order, although in doing so he killed 2 men. The lawless element understandably resented Wild Bill Hickok, and several attempts were made on his life. Thus, he developed a habit of standing or sitting with his back to the wall. We're now heading down Main Street. This street is one of the largest commercial areas in the historic part of Hays, Kansas. Many of these buildings that we see as we go through this area were constructed in the late 1800s and early 1900s. We'll now head into the downtown area of Hays, Kansas. This first building that we see with the two large columns in the front is a building that was constructed around 1911 and was identified and has been identified as Citizens State Bank. Later it became First National Bank and today houses a real estate office. The Fox Theater building was constructed in 1950. This is a two-story Art Deco movie theater that's clad in blonde brick. I hope you've enjoyed your time wandering around Hays, Kansas. If you had, make sure to hit that like button and also the subscribe button to see future walks. We'll see you on our next Wandering Walks of Adventure. Take care now. Bye-bye.